Stop trying to climb a broken ladder. This course defines a new dynamic blueprint for enterprise architecture assessment. First, we learn to collaborate with stakeholders to define quantifiable business outcomes. Next, we identified the exact combination of people, process, and tools capabilities required to achieve those goals. Finally, we mastered the gap analysis using an impact versus effort matrix to prioritize your investments. This outcome-based approach is your foundation for building a successful, adaptable, and data-driven enterprise architecture strategy. Ever feel like your company is trying to climb a broken ladder when it comes to technology? That's the trap of traditional maturity models. They're like faded static snapshots, 5 rigid steps designed decades ago, and they just don't fit our fast-moving, unique business world. This one-size-fits-all approach forces a robotic straight-line growth that ignores real-world complexity and wastes valuable time. The result? Total disconnect. Your brilliant business strategy is completely siloed, floating far above your IT systems, everyday processes, and your team's skills. This painful gap is what leads to those expensive, wasted investments and agonizingly slow project delivery that can sink any innovative effort. But it's time to move from those rigid ladders to a dynamic new approach. Imagine a continuous, custom, step-by-step flow that constantly adapts to your needs. This outcome-based framework doesn't ask how mature you are, it asks what you want to achieve. It's a simple cycle. First, we define the actual business outcomes you need, like reducing cloud costs or speeding up delivery. Next, we identify the specific capabilities, the people, tech, and processes required to get there. Then, we look for gaps and perform an assessment, comparing where you are to that target. Finally, you map and prioritize these gaps based on effort and impact, always feeding back to your core business strategy. Stop climbing standard ladders and start building a smart, customized bridge to your outcomes. We need to move away from rigid maturity ladders that ask, how mature are we? These outdated snapshots lack context and force an artificial linear growth that creates a negative terminology problem. The real competitive edge is a dynamic approach. We must shift our core question to what capabilities do we need to achieve specific business outcomes? This isn't about striated levels. It's about dynamic capabilities built for continuous improvement. So, what is a capability? It's the powerful unison of people, processes, and tools. The combination of skills, culture, workflows, and technology all working together. The new assessment framework isn't just about identifying these capabilities. It adds a prioritization schema to ensure you don't waste time fixing everything at once. This circular, iterative process links directly to your business goals. Start with business outcomes, identify needed capabilities, perform a gap analysis, and finally, prioritize the gaps by scoring their potential impact against the required effort. This is a powerful, data-driven approach, perfectly aligned to transform a modern organization for success. Step 1 of our framework is where the magic really starts, defining business outcomes and aligning stakeholders. We cannot emphasize this enough. These outcomes must be quantitative. Forget vague notions like better efficiency. You need a real number, like reducing costs by 15% within 18 months. Without a hard metric, how will you know if your new architecture has succeeded? Remember, enterprise architecture cannot live in an ivory tower. Alignment across the entire organization is essential. That means collaboration, not isolation, with key stakeholders like executives, business leaders, and IT management. This shared understanding ensures every effort by the EA team can be directly traced back to a critical desired result for the company. While we always focus on universal goals, like reducing silo duplication, avoiding customer chaos, and enabling innovation by eliminating costly technical debt, the framework truly shines when focused on specific initiatives, like supporting a merger or building a strategic roadmap for a full-scale transition to the cloud.
Step 2 is a crucial pivot for your business. Instead of just chasing a generic maturity score on a preset ladder, we are going to define the exact capabilities you need for your success. We view enterprise architecture itself as a dynamic domain, a distinct area of activity within your company. To make this manageable, we organize your needs into 3 essential pillars. First, people. What skills, talent, and culture are required? Second, process. What governance, workflows, standards, and decision frameworks are necessary? And third, tools. What software, automation, and technology must enable this work? The model must then be expanded and tailored to your organization's unique context. In our cloud example, this might mean developing a strategy with specialized cloud architecture skills, establishing cloud governance and modernization frameworks, and selecting specific cloud migration tools. We even provide a non-exhaustive deep dive list to help you build your custom capability model and ensure every decision aligns with your business strategy.
We're finally at step 3 of our framework, mapping capability gaps and building a prioritized roadmap. Your tailored capability model is the standard. Now we perform a powerful gap analysis to see where your current organization falls short of that need. This step requires real research, including interviews with stakeholders, asking about challenges across people, process, and tools. When analyzing your core functions, look for people with the right talent and structure. Look for well-defined, easy-to-follow processes, and look for automated tools to support your standards and eliminate bottlenecks. Once you've conducted your research, you will have identified weak capability areas. But you cannot solve every gap at once. You must prioritize. Map your gaps to a schema based on 2 factors, impact and effort, quantifying both from 1 low to 5 high. Using this simplified scoring allows your priorities to take immediate shape. Look at our cloud example. The skill deficiency in cloud architecture has a high impact and medium effort, making it the clear first priority. This data-driven approach ensures you invest your resources where they deliver the greatest return, providing the solid foundation to build and execute your unique enterprise architecture strategy. Stop trying to climb a broken ladder. This course defines a new dynamic blueprint for enterprise architecture assessment. First, we learn to collaborate with stakeholders to define quantifiable business outcomes. Next, we identified the exact combination of people, process, and tools capabilities required to achieve those goals. Finally, we mastered the gap analysis, using an impact versus effort matrix to prioritize your investments. This outcome-based approach is your foundation for building a successful, adaptable, and data-driven enterprise architecture strategy.